So welcome back again, everybody. What I want to cover here, I've got just a few slides, so it'll be kind of a loose interpretation of where we're going with this, because I want most of it to be on the site itself as we look at different stocks, different options trades, how to manage them. And I'll pull up some charts. I'll say, what would you do if this does this, and what would you do here? Because our real goal here is to get you to think more like an investor and less like a student. And many of you have gone through quite a few classes, spent a lot of money in your classes, as have I. But all of our classes are really set up for us, which is to give us the education on what the stock market is. You're not really going to become a professional investor if that's your goal, or even do a better job managing your own portfolio if you don't really understand how the market works versus just what is the marketplace. So we're going to do a few things. Changing your mindsets for what we're after. You already know about stocks. Everybody knows what a stock is. You've kind of heard that. In fact, this should be fairly simple. Most of you already know about options. Anybody here not trading options at all? Okay, one. Okay, good. You understand technical analysis. Tim does a fantastic job of technical analysis. I always like to listen to Tim because he knows so much. It's almost a little intimidating sometimes. You hear how much he really knows. He kept it very simple for us today, but it's nice to hear what he has to say. I was really looking for what his analysis was short term, because even though I have my own analysis, it's always nice to hear what other people think at the exact same time. So it's nice to hear what he's thinking. A lot of people always ask that, why do I want to trade with other people? Why do I want to have other people around? And it's kind of a plus and a minus. Excuse me. Other people, if you trade with trading partners, I trade with both my sister and my brother. I don't always listen to what they say because they have their own style, but I want their opinion. And so it's always nice to have other people, because when you're all by yourself, sometimes you'll start doubting yourself and you say, why did I do that? I don't understand this. Why would I make this decision over something else? But if somebody else can be there and confirm what you're already thinking, it keeps you on the right path. It's always nice to have somebody else out there. So I'm assuming that most of you understand some basic technical analysis. I'm not going to keep it very detailed. In fact, I keep mine very simple. I'll show you exactly what I use for all of my technical analysis. I understand quite a bit more, but I find that too many people will do too much with technical analysis, and you'll actually talk yourself out of a trade. You'll start looking for things, and you'll say, well, what about this, or what about this? And I hear all the time when Stacy and I do a Perfecting Profits class, well, did you notice that this is happening over here? I said, absolutely. And people say, well, what about this over here? I said, I see that too. Well, why are you still going to do that? Because I think I want to make some money. So you can look at so many items. In fact, think about your very first search you've ever written. You went ahead and you wrote a search, and the more detailed analysis you got, the more detail for your search, what came up?
Confusion.
Nothing came up. Because you got too detailed, so you start backing off a little bit. There's always something that will talk you out of your trade. So keep it really simple. So we're going to keep it very simple. So understand the technical analysis. Most of you already paid for your education, so there's no reason to pay for it again. So you've got your education out there, so now start using what we're after here. So if you know stocks, you know options, you understand technical analysis, you paid for your education, the real question should be for you, then why are you here? You guys learned the same thing I did, the same classes I did. So why are we here? And the real reason boils down to most of us haven't really put it together and said, now how do I use it to actually get into and out of trade? The problem with the education part is that it stops after the education's done. If your education, here's this, here's that. It's kind of like learning how to drive a car. There's a car. There's the wheel. Here's what the wheels do. There's the steering wheel. Here's what it does. Here's the ignition. Here's what it does. Here's the gear shift knob. Here's what it does. Here's the brake. Here's what it does. But then what do they do once they've showed all that to you? They actually put you in the car, and then they drive with you. Remember driver's ed classes? And you drove around, you drove around, you drove around. They didn't just stop once they told you what the car was. They took you out and they drove you. So now we're going to drive up the hill. Now we're going to back up. Now we're going to do a 3-point turnaround. Now we're going to stop fast. Now we're going to do this. And they showed you what to do with each part over and over and over again. Well, that's the real problem with stock market education is most people just stop after they give you the education. They don't actually trade with you. And if they do trade with you, it's usually along the basis of, well, here's what you should have been doing. Well, I understand what I should have been doing, because obviously if I'm calling you right now because I have a problem, I should have been doing something different. But nobody really will come out there and say, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. I'm going to put my own money in its place. And that's where I like to, Stacey and other people will come out and say, here's what real investors do. Let's go out and see how we really make money now. And that's what I want to teach you to do, because I want you to start using your real money and feel comfortable with your trades. And you're going to feel comfortable with your own trades when you start making consistent profits. You'll make consistent profits when you understand what to do when you're wrong. The problem with the stock market is that most people don't know what to do when they're wrong. They know what to do when they're correct. You do a search, you'll find something that looks perfect, but what do you do now that you're wrong? And you might not be wrong 20% of the time, but it's that 20% of the time that you're wrong that eats up 100% of your profits. And that's what we're here to try to fix. So, why are you here? This is, by the way, this is open participatory.
Yeah, what you said.
Yeah, you're here because of what I said. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's fantastic. This is the first one of these I've done where I've actually broadcasted live with it at the same time.
Become a better trader.
Become a better trader. Okay. What do you think you're missing right now?
Experience.
Experience. I've paid several $100,000 for my experience.
Oh. I'm planning to spend just a little less.
The problem with mine is that I got in the stock market in a nice bull run, and it didn't matter what you did. You bought it, it went up, you were
I need my headset.
and everybody was just simply buying calls because that's all that you learn. You buy calls, the market went up, you made your money no matter what. 1997. And so then you made all that money, and then you start thinking that you're invincible, and then it doesn't matter, well, I'm just going to buy this because it works anyway. And then when the market started to crash, it all went away. Okay? So, next slide for me.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I can do it.
Yeah. Or I can. Left mouse.
Left mouse click. This is there. Okay, good. I'm just going to leave it here and do my mouse. All right, so why are we here? Because most of us don't have a real investment strategy. We have an idea of what the stock market is, what options are, what technical analysis is, but we don't really have an investment strategy. Most of us trade off of emotion, and we look at something and say, I like that. And like is what? An emotion and not logic. And one of the reasons I think that I do fairly well in the stock market is because I'm not a real emotional person. For those of you who know me, I'm actually quite even-killed, but I'm very logical in my thought process. B equals C. And there's no really emotion part that comes into my trades. I've always been fairly even-killed, right from the very beginning. I've never really been a very excitable person. Most people think I'm a little brain dead, which might be possible too. I was in a serious car accident when I was younger, so I might have a little bit of damage there. But I've never had the emotion part. It just never was. It wasn't that big of a deal if I made money or lost money. But because it really wasn't that big of a deal, I didn't care about it as much because you don't care about it as much. The emotion part goes away. And then when the emotion goes away, you can strictly use the logic part. And when you have the logic, it's just much easier to do your trades. Because you say, oh, look at this. It went up today. It went up today. Actually, it went up yesterday. The market closed today. Anybody see the market go up yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody a little surprised by that besides me? I was surprised by that. I thought for sure they were pulling back. I thought that was going to pull back. Man, I hate it when that happens, but that's life. Right? So what do we do now?
Just wait.
Right? So we should have some kind of a plan in place that if this happens, we're going to do this. That's the trading plan. If we don't know that, then if we don't have that plan in place, oh my goodness, the market like yesterday, I'm losing cash. I better close all my positions now, right? The boat's sinking. That's the emotion part kicking in. Logic says we have to have a trading plan. How about this? You're here because we believed in the perfect anything, perfect storm, the perfect search, the perfect trade, the perfect this. You know, if I could just find one stock where everything fit. I've learned 85 different technical indicators, so if I can put all technical indicators in there and all 85 look perfect and the option pays me this much money, I'm doing that trade. That's the perfect trade. I can't go wrong. And the problem is I guess not really a problem. The good part is you'll find those every once in a while. But then the market doesn't really care if you thought it was perfect or not because the market's going to do whatever the market wants to do. And it just changes sometimes. And it changes right when you didn't think it was going to happen. Like yesterday, the market went up, and I thought that wasn't going to happen. It changes. So we believe in the perfect something, and there is no perfect something because whatever we think is going to happen, the market will do whatever it wants to do at any time it wants to do it. So we have to understand what we're going to do if we're correct, but the market's wrong. That's how we have to look at it.